So let's go through a few names that I really like the Toronto Blue Jays to focus on because there's a bunch of them, and honestly, there's a couple different directions that the Toronto Blue Jays can go. The primary guy on the free agent market, if we're talking about free agent market alone, is Kyle Tucker. It's always been Kyle Tucker. I've been talking about this for months, right? He is a guy that really changes everything for the Toronto Blue Jays because he's perfectly designed offensive player for what we do between being left-handed, the swing decisions, the power, everything else. I think Kyle Tucker is the guy that sets the rest of the market for them. For free agent relief pitching options, Fairbanks makes a ton of sense, despite the fact that people are not enamored with Fairbanks, which confuses me. And Brad Keller, I think, is sitting there, and Brad Keller could be like a wonderful ad for this team that can do a lot. And I think there's a lot of like David Bednar to what he does. So those two guys would be primary options. The interesting thing is that if the Toronto Blue Jays are able to bring in Kyle Tucker, let's say, well, now all of a sudden you have a glut of outfielders, especially left-handed hitting outfielders, and you still have that 40-man crunch. If the Toronto Blue Jays were bringing back Bichette as well as bringing in Tucker, now all of a sudden that 40-man crunch becomes very, very interesting, and you have a lot of major league caliber players that would be looking for opportunities elsewhere that can fill roles elsewhere. And at that point, it would be interesting to see if the Toronto Blue Jays would look to do a large consolidation to fill their bullpen needs with a big back end piece by packaging together 40-man players, MLB regulars, to acquire that piece. If Bichette isn't brought back, obviously you can use that consolidation of pieces to go out and acquire either a Ketel Marte or a Brendan Donovan, because I think those are the two premier guys on the trade market at that position, because I don't think Jose Ramirez is available. But that's the reality. And in a lot of ways, I would prefer either of those guys. I would definitely prefer Marte over Bichette without question. But Donovan too. Donovan's really good. The other thing I want to mention about Bo Bichette is I've been saying this for months, and people have given me a lot of flack about it because since April, I've been talking about how the reason why the Toronto Blue Jays didn't go out and extend Bo Bichette is because there was obviously a major, major gap, not in AAV, but in term. I did not believe that there was a 7 to 10 year deal out there for Bo Bichette on the marketplace. I did not think that teams would view him long term as a shortstop and wouldn't want to pay him as such. And there is a physical decline element to Bo Bichette that is worrying. So I have always believed that a 3 or 4 year deal worth very, very high AAV made the most sense for Bo Bichette on this marketplace. And I think that I've said before, 3 years 100, 4 years 120, whatever it ended up being. You use those max AAV numbers to acquire him because right now the reporting is saying that I was right. And who knows if a team boosts their offer to get it across the finish line. But as of right now, the reporting says that most teams are looking at Bo Bichette with a shorter term, high AAV number. And I've been saying it for forever. So we'll see what happens with him. But I think those are some fun options, and we'll do a trade market video after.